Do something about it. Give them the freedom. You taught us, you funded us to stand up and fight. So they are your children and your grandchildren. Give them the pardon. Thank you and God bless.
Shehu Sani. At least he was able to tell him to his face, national anthem is not going to change Nigeria. Singing national anthem or changing, well, it's not good. No. You would have to actually really do the work. And as for Kolu, let's be seen like emperor, Democracy Day, they were supposed to possibly unveil the portrait of MKO Abiola, and they also demand that it's the symbol of June 12. About the way he made it about himself. Kolu had his own, they said the world biggest portrait printing on canvas. So very soon now, they will change the history of their democracy. They will tell you, say that Tinubu fought for democracy for Nigeria. You will see. So let's go listen to Tinubu. Here is Tinubu without any written, what do you call it? Without any written speech. He's now talking directly now. I know it can be boring, but I think you should just look at him like a clown. I know somehow it's not funny, but it is always funny to me when Kolu speaks. So I don't listen to him like I'm listening to somebody who is sane. He's a mentally deranged person. He's a rogue, a criminal, right? But he's also mentally challenged too. He's going to say a lot of things. It's not going to make any sense. But still, I want it on record. Yeah, I want it on record so that, in 10, 20 years' time, all these Olori Brukus will not change the history and begin to teach our children nonsense that a drug dealer, a drug baron, certificate forger, okay, is a hero. So that this Mayegun's diary political, if everything passes, all of my words here, they shall not go without coming to pass. They cannot die. Even when I die, all these words shall not die. Generations yet unborn, they will come upon this video. They will see all these characters. They will know the roles they play in the years or decades preceding theirs. Yes, my word shall be on Mabu, and everything that everyone did or said shall also be in the diary. So here is Kolu. Laugh if you can. Go make some coffee if you can. If you can't, watch.
Me.
And don't forget, look at this room. I want you to look into that room and tell me if I am wrong. That if Nigeria was a country, the police should walk straight into that room and put handcuff on the enemy, on the hands of every person inside that place. The person that will receive the lowest jail term will not get anything less than 10 years inside that room. If I am wrong, tell me after this clip.
Me, Ododo, I will see you. No matter how short a man is, you will see the sky. Everybody had forgotten the partisanship color and embraced that green, white, green that depicts Nigeria. That is the value that we hold there to ourselves. That is the baton. That is the reason that we say we hand over a banner without stain to our children and grandchildren. Is it not true that Nigeria is greater than any one of us? That the unity of this country cannot be traded. Yes, I saw many criticism about national anthem duty. What for? If you cannot change the name Nigeria, are you the creator of Nigerian name? Nigeria is blessed. Our complexity, yes. Our diversity, unending. What is the best road to success? And I'm standing before you, promising you. I did my broadcast in the morning, but as a price of the dinner you cost me tonight, I'm still making some remarks to offset the dinner price, even though I describe today as low-key. But I have to celebrate with you, my dear brothers. Senate President, Deputy Senate President, you get a notice from me if I've changed my mind. On minimum wage. He's looking at me with one kind high. Nothing but about minimum wages. We're going to do it what Nigeria can afford, what you can afford, what I can afford. You ask you to cut your coat according to your size. If you have size at all. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a night that we should plan jovially and celebrate.
Nuisance leleyi. Nuisance leleyi.
That's Kolu. So that's the first one. I had to cut it into two so that it won't be too like for some of you. Because we are going to go to the bullet points soon. The bullet points. Where some of you who have one or two things to say about Toby, no kuna they press your finger and they massage your finger. Because as it is right now, when Tinubu fell yesterday, Bayo Onokunuga was out there saying the people mocking Tinubu were the obedient. Now Obi sent them to go and laugh at Tinubu. Meanwhile, Obi himself was on Twitter saying people should not laugh at Tinubu and the obedient themselves that they give them left, right, and center. Obi will be say, now in own Obi, then take call a form obedient too. But yet they were still accused that now Obi sent them, made them go laugh at it. So now if you have something to say about Obi, you better begin to massage your finger so that when I bring him up now, because the guy did not come to play. If you have watched the interview yesterday, right? I'm bringing the buzz back and I'm leaving it here as part of what happened yesterday. Let's call you finish his Bulaba here.
And celebrate our God-given country. I'm glad that you all are here. I'm excited. The promises I could make, struggling to bring the food prices down. But those bandits who leave the farmers alone and bring Nigeria back to its glory of production and harvesting. We can do it. We can produce our way out of the history of complaint we can make Nigeria a tremendously successful country. If we gather as we gather here tonight, encourage our children about the charter of our value system. As they look upon me as a leader to make the changes, what about us, the rest of you, the rest of your children, making those changes too? What do you tell them? How do you teach them? Whatever we have to invest in our national orientation, I think we should do it. Before I left for this dinner, there was a news. We commend those custom officers in Kebbi, conundrum, rejecting millions of bribery. To forget the vandalization and arrest of those vandalizing our track, our rail track. What do you call that? Distinguished leaders, we have a lot of work that we must do about our country, about our citizens. Citizenship is not just the dictionary meaning of it, it's the actual character in us. Let's teach this one to our children so that Nigeria collectively we will do the job that we are called upon to do as one family, one nation, under God Almighty. Thank you very much.
Nuisance lele.
So we must do everything to teach our children about our orientation charter. What's that one? No? What is the orientation charter? So we have to teach her. Then we have to do everything to tell the bandit to leave the farmers alone. How are we going to tell the bandit to leave the farmers alone so that they can harvest? Uncle Bandit, Sonuda Iki, Ranka Dede, Yaya Iki, Yaya De. Please, because Sonuda Kundari, yeah, please leave the farmers alone. Abi? Nigeria ti borí tó bá pé Nigeria ti last death. Nigeria ti ní kíni ó ti ní accident. But again, those that are enjoying this fury, they will disagree, no doubt. But we'll go see Obi. I mean, you've heard Tinubu now, Abi. Now, here is the man that frustrated Nigerians under Tinubu. Especially the frustrated Agbadorians, the humbled slaves, the sophisticated morons, the crumb eaters, the ass lickers, the all-risers. This is the man they love to put all their frustration on. He is not the oppressed idiots, but somehow, they prefer to kind of unleash. Why has Obi not condemned the killing? See, we have not heard anything from Obi. This killing in the Obi has not said something about this hunger, kind of like that. And whenever he speaks, wala to mashele. Now he spoke yesterday, and everywhere don't be like So I have a few clips from that. Starting, he had a chat with Charles. on Arise TV or Arise News. And it was about the state of Nigeria. So I will take them in parts, okay? First, when Charles welcome him. Happy Democracy, excuse me. Happy Democracy Day.
Thank you, Mr. Charles.
And Happy Democracy Day.
Thank you.
You've been away from television for a while. You've been making very few comments about a lot of things that have been happening. Why is that?
Well, just following up and making sure that other people make the comments and I listen, because part of leadership is also listening and learning. And that's what has been happening. I've also been contributing a bit of mine.
Indeed. This week, of course, Democracy Day, it's being marked this week here in Nigeria. How concerned are you that democracy in this country remains extremely fragile, and some would say in peril, after a quarter of a century?
Well, for me, that was part of my comments today, because you said I tweeted today. The question is, the fundamental question to ask today is to ask, are we truly democratic? For me, that was part of my comments today, because you said I tweeted today. The question is, the fundamental question to ask today is to ask, are we truly democratic? Unexamined life is not worth living. You must at any step try to examine what we are doing. After 25 years of experimenting and trying to be a democratic country, it is now time to ask questions. Are we truly democratic? And you start by defining what it's supposed to be. Democracy is supposed to be government of the people, by the people, for the people. So the fundamental question, is this government of the people? Is it by the people? And is it for the people? Beneath this is supposed to be a benefit for the people, which is not there today. Absence of which have led to leadership failure over the years that brought massive corruption, hunger, sufferings, all sorts of pain, insecurity, everything. So the opposite is what we've experienced. What we should actually be celebrating is that some sort of state capture, where those who have captured it have cornered all the benefits that are meant for the people. All the people are supposed to see in terms of good education, good health, and pulling them out of poverty have been cornered by the few that have captured the system. And they continue at the suffering at the expense of all. And the list is endless. You can go there and see the measure of democracy. We are 4.23, which shows we're low. You look at the hunger index, we're 109 over 124 countries measured, which shows we're low. You look at corruption index, we're 145 over 180 countries, which shows we're low. You look at law and order, which is supposed to be an intangible asset that drives democracy. We're very low. We're 120 over countries measured. So you could see we're low in every facet. If you compare even the electioneering process that brings our leaders into office, again, we're very low. Let's just take the recent elections in comparable countries of South Africa, India, Mexico. In all these three countries, first is that over 60% of registered voters participated in voting. Polling booths opened, over 80% opened on time and closed on time without incidents, no ballot snatching, no this and everything. And results were transmitted electronically without any hitches, no glitches, nothing.
Well, there was a slight hitch in the South African transmission, but not to the degree.
No,
that
it
we
didn't
had in
affect the
Nigeria.
result because every party accepted it. It was a very minor thing. I watched it sitting down in my own sitting room from beginning to the end. India, that was supposed to have over, the people that voted in India are 3 times the Nigerian population. Yet you could see it. The election was accepted. In our own case, less than 25% of the voters participated.
And indeed, those who came out, many of them were prevented from
Thank
voting.
you. At the polling booths, did not open on time, closed late, closed early, with all sorts of fraud and everything. And when you think about it, in these countries that I mentioned, these were carried out by ordinary citizens. In our own case, despite all this fraud, glitches, everything, it was being executed by professors. So there must be something we need to re-examine and ask ourselves question, how do we get it right? For our children, for the future generation.
The first shot fired. You cannot say we met a bad economy or we met a this or that, all right? And yet you are living the life of opulence. Obi never finish. See, here is another one. This time around is about the hardship, okay? But listen.
Charles, the first thing you do as a leader who inherited a difficult situation is to lead by example. And it starts by your own style, by your behavior, your conduct, how you manage the resources. You cannot say that things are difficult when you're living in conspicuous consumption. The things you don't do. Nigeria today is a country with the highest amount of people without homes. Over 24 million. Yet, you're spending 20-something billion to build a house for one person. Mr. Johnson, are you saying that a vice president of Nigeria cannot live in a 4-bedroom house? You live in the UK. 10 Downing Street is 3 rooms. That is an economy that is almost 10 times our economy today. And the Prime Minister lives in 3 rooms. So that's where you start. You start by living like somebody who is coming through difficulty, who is facing difficulty, who wants to change things. That's how we do it. You don't engage in what we've been doing, buying vehicles, partying and everything, as if things are normal. When you say there's difficulty, you need to deal with the issue of cutting the cost of governance. That's where you start. So you need to deal with the issue of massive corruption. That is showing that I am now, okay, things are bad. Just have served the system where I came in and found that things are bad. And we start by cutting the cost of governance.
So is that what you'd like to see him I mean, the first year is gone. You know, that's a fact. But he's now entering his second year. Or he has entered. What are the things that
you have to also show a clear plan. It is not enough to say, oh, we're going to go through problem. If we're going to go through problem, this is very simple. You enter a plane. There's a bad weather. There's going to be a turbulence. The pilot says, we're going to go through bad weather. It's going to take us maybe 1 hour, 2 hours because of this. And he follows it through. That is not the time. In that bad weather, everybody, even the crew, are asked to sit down. That's not time to start serving food and wine and everything when everything is up and down. That's why we're there. We're in turbulence and people are still dancing and everything. I always say what happened to the Titanic is what is happening in Nigeria. While the plane was going on, the people on the upper deck were busy dancing until the whole thing collapsed. That's what is happening now. We should change and do things rightly. We can change and manage corruption and everything. Charles.
That's another one.